Greetings, or what is up, and a very warm welcome to the channel. The sun is hiding because it's winter in England, and the magpie is casting. Coming at you guys right now with a replay from the ladder, featuring two of the most fantastic players in the game. I'm going to go ahead and introduce them as we load on into Torrin Crater, which is going to be the map spawning in the south. Playing as the black and grey Galzian forces, it is going to be AGameAnx, who is, of course, an absolute monster. If you're not familiar with this guy by now, then you probably haven't been in the Desert of Karak scene for very long, because this guy is prolific. It's probably not really an exaggeration to say he's probably the best player in the game. I mean, he's certainly been at the highest levels of play throughout the game's lifespan, so he's just fantastically good. I'm really looking forward to seeing what he's going to bring in this game. And spawning up in the north, playing as the yellow coalition forces, it is going to be his opponent, who is actually labelled in this game as Killerpollo, but I'm told that this is actually Greippi, who is like one of the best players in the game as well. Definitely somebody who can challenge AGameAnx. And definitely somebody who exists just at the top of Deserts of Karak. So I've not cast so much of Greippi at all, so I'm really not sure what to expect from him, but very much looking forward to seeing what he's going to bring as well. So it looks like both players, looks like a base runner coming out here for Killerpollo. Looks like A-Game has retired his base runner, favouring those additional resources, so he's going to have a little bit of a boost there. We're viewing this replay through A-Game's eyes, so we can keep an eye out on his research and things. We've got it up in the top right here. Looks like it's going to be a reasonably safe macro opening here, going for the refinery mode into Sandskimmer Fab. And from Greippi, well, we're going to have to see. Looks like Greippi goes for the support cruiser, going to relocate his carrier over to access a second mining location, and it looks like both of these players looking to open the game in a pretty macro oriented fashion, and that's really cool, because when you've got two high level players going at it, it's really awesome to see them cheese each other and see what they can make happen, but it's also really awesome when they go for a macro game and you get, you know you're going to have a game that's probably going to last at least 10 minutes, and you're going to get to see some cool big battles and see some of the more groovy units get used. So anyway, this base runner here from Greippi kind of sneaking out around the side. Is he going to try and throw a turret down or something cheeky? I'm not sure I've ever seen this. Yeah. This is going to be a turret. You can see he's like toying with the turret button here. Well, this is going to be interesting. Is he going to go for the turret? Maybe he's just going to like pretend he's going for the turret. Anyway, A-Game sees this, going to task a couple of sand skimmers here with coming across to deal with that. The turret does come down though. That's so annoying! How have I been casting this game this long and I don't think I've ever seen like a coalition turret deny on the natural, like ever. And like this turret, like look at the line of sight here. Like it pretty much is going to control like this whole area. It will one-shot sand skimmers, assuming nothing's changed in the most recent patch. And I mean, cool. Greippi showing how it's done. Also, I should apologise briefly. Since yesterday and my casts then, I am becoming ill with a cold, so my voice is a little bit kind of, my throat's also likewise subpar. Anyway, alright, so here comes the carrier. Okay, well this makes sense. Going to use the carrier. So he switches the production cruiser over here to mine from the first location. Going to bring the carrier across so that it can use its guns to deal with this turret. But look how much mining time that this is denying here. These 4 salvagers, as an investment, have been like not paying for themselves for like 30 seconds there, maybe a bit longer. So this turret being super cool. And actually, AGameAnx is going to bring the salvagers in a tad early, and Greippi is on top of the micro. He is going to target fire one of these salvagers. Okay, it turns out A-Game timed that perfectly so that there was no opportunity for a salvage to be destroyed, but damn, that was pretty close stuff. Base runner here for Greippi, going to grab one of these artifacts, tries to make it out of there, but A-Game has 5 sand skimmers. They're going to be tasked with taking this out. Looks like AAV tech going to be the route of choice here. You can see the little box here. This is the AAV tech bong, this little box here on the carrier. So, and obviously you can see the AAVs as well, but I'm just pointing out what it looks like on the carrier, just so that you guys out there who are learning the game can start identifying these things, because when you spot your opponent's carrier, being able to identify what tech that they've got researched on that carrier can sometimes give you a very tangible in-game benefit, so that's pretty cool. Just bear with me a second. Okay, so we've got 4 AAVs moving out across the map, and that is dangerous times right now. Gotta think, wow, railgun tech isn't even on the way yet for A-Game. He has gone for assault ships. Okay, that's fine. That can work. You can make assault ships, you know, work against AAVs. That's a fight you can take. The sand skimmers for AGameAnx, they're going to come past here, looking for an opening, just trying to get anything he can get done here, like a scouting scouting information. If you can pick anything off, that'll be really cool. This base runner, just going to be forced back a little bit there. That is a replacement base runner, so Greippi actually has invested in yet another base runner. That's not something you ever want to have to do, but he clearly values the unit enough that he wants it out on the field, and that does make a lot of sense, let's face it, for the Coalition. The base runner gives you a lot of utility, so that's pretty groovy. These 4 AAVs, I don't think A-Game knew about them until they pretty much rolled up, so this is, I think this is the first he knows about them. So gonna take out the scanner there, I think that was, and all of these salvagers going to be forced to relocate. This is super annoying because this is like the 2 CU pile stack, so this is like even worse to be denying this location here. So Greippi here getting like more economic disruption inflicted on his opponent, and look, meanwhile behind this, Greippi is he's doing whatever he wants back here. I wouldn't be surprised, could we got the production tab? I wouldn't be surprised to see soon on Greippi here another support cruiser so he can open up another resource site. 5 Sandskimmers going to come on in here, but they're going to get denied. Let's check back in the south. So it looks like these AAVs just happy to deny, doesn't want to push his luck, and that makes a lot of sense. I feel like A-Game kind of being punished a bit here for not going railgun. I feel like being punished for going for these assault ships a little bit, because if he had railguns, there's no way that these tanks could just sit here the way they're doing. So it looks like Greippi here going to pop smoke and fall back in the face of these assault ships that are moving in. Meanwhile, looks like 2 Sandskimmers have been shaved off here, so Greippi actually being aggressive and pushing forwards with these guys, looking to do some damage.
Coordinates verified. Point maneuver underway.
So, it looks like A-Game has actually regained control of his main. Actually, a little bit sluggish on getting the production cruiser back over here. Is going to cost him a tiny bit more in terms of economic damage, so Greippi just getting so much value. Second support cruiser is now complete here for Greippi. He's going to be trying to mine off of 3 locations here, and you have to think... oh, sorry. I was totally wrong when I said A-Game was a bit sluggish putting his production cruiser back over here. That's actually his second production cruiser, lol. The first one's all the way over here and was mining off of this location the whole time, so... Come on, Magpie, let's try and stay on top of what's going on. So okay, base runner grabs this artifact. Greippi going to try and apply some objective pressure. 1 Sandskimmer ain't going to be enough to stop that. In fact, there's nothing in the hood which is going to be enough to stop that, so it's going to be 1-0 here on the scoreline, and A-Game... right now it feels like it's 55-45 to Greippi. You know, he's just gotten a few things done, maybe even 60-40. He's just gotten a little bit of value here and there. It's hurt the economy. He's got a little bit more map control. He's applying some objective pressure. So this is a really nice opening for our Coalition player. I like this a lot. Looks like he's now got railgun tech, which, by the way, that is it's this thing here. This little bar on the side. That is railgun tech.
Target location marked. Interceptor online, awaiting orders. Artifact detected.
So A-Game here trying to corral these armored assaults back on out of his half of the map, just making sure that he's not going to be exposed to any harassment. A couple of interceptors now up as well for A-Game. That's going to be super useful. We're going to start picking down these armored assaults and really making Greippi pay for this map presence that he has at the moment. Oh wow, these AAVs actually get into the salvagers. I think at least 1 salvager will go down. 2 AAVs going to get destroyed before they get any shots off into these salvagers though, so that's fine. 1 salvager goes down, there it goes. Let's just zoom out and see if there's anything else. Okay, so right now all the action is focused on here. Wow, is there a railgun with this army? Oh, for a second I thought there was a railgun with it. If there was a railgun with this force, that would be almost a master stroke by Greippi. That would be so sinister. Because that way he could just hang back here, put down a turret, and just deny this location, and that would be really spicy. As it is, not going to happen. Base runner's actually going to feed itself into a couple of assault ships here, so a little bit of an overextension by Greippi. The escorting force is not in a position to assist, and especially, I mean, 2 assault ships would be that little army here anyway. So yeah, the base runner is going to go down, and now I think A-Game is going to feel confident enough to move out onto the map a bit. One thing I'm a little bit surprised at, actually, is A-Game not fanning out the Sandskimmers in the way that I'm used to seeing. I suppose he's not really bought very many Sandskimmers this game, so so I guess he wants to keep them all together so that they have that, so they're a more cohesive military force. But normally I'm used to seeing A-Game with a Sandskimmer here, a Sandskimmer here, a Sandskimmer here, a Sandskimmer here, you know, keeping up that sensors network. But I guess he hasn't had that luxury this game. With a different unit composition and being forced to use his Sandskimmers in a more sort of combat-oriented role. So let's check the research here. Railgun Fab is coming up. Sandskimmer raiding. Ooh, and Sandskimmer Armor 1 and Attack 1 are finished? No, just Armor 1, sorry. Attack 1. Oh, does Attack 1 come after raiding? Oh, okay, so you have to get raiding before you can go for Attack 1, is that right? Huh, I really should know that, seeing as how I play Galzian and Knef most of the time. But it's been a while. Cut me some slack here, guys. Anyway, A-Game's going to come in for a multi-pronged attack here, splitting 4 assault ships off to the left, 2 go right. Sand skimmers are in mid, waiting to support. These assault ships actually though are moving into a wall of railguns. Now the interceptors are here on support, but there's missile batteries here already, so 2 interceptors go down immediately. A couple of railgun slugs going to find these assault ships. Probably not going to get any kills though. But A-Game is going to be punished for poking in here, losing 2 interceptors, and not actually finding any value with this attack, which is not the end of the world, but definitely not what he wanted. Greippi here still looking strong, but A-Game with field control. If he can get a base runner out now, he could look to equalize the scoreline, maybe grab himself an artifact or 2, and yeah, look to apply some pressure onto Greippi that way. Wow, man, Greippi's like, look at this army here. That is a lot of railguns and missile batteries. I do worry for this army because it's very weak against sand skimmers, and A-Game is going into sand skimmers right now. In fact, he hasn't shown the sand skimmers, so I don't think Greippi... Whoa, good mortar shot coming down off the missile battery. But anyway, yeah, I don't think Greippi actually realizes that A-Game is going into sand skimmers quite as hard as he is, and the sand skimmers are going to sledge in left now that A-Game knows that the army is committed to the right, and now there's very little to defend here, and sand skimmers, let's remember, are pretty good against railguns and missile batteries, so it's not just the economy that's vulnerable here. A-Game, yeah, he's going to go straight for these railguns, recognizing that they are expensive and high-value targets. Missile battery popping a mortar there, but no hits. Well, kind of a near miss, I suppose. And do we have? Let's check. Do we have attack upgrades? Oh man, if A-Game could just get. Okay, now damage comes. I was going to say, if A-Game just had like +1 attack on these, then like so much damage would be being wrought right now. And I say this as a player, like, if you ever play against Magpie 42 on the ladder, just be ready to defend against sand skimmers. I just love them. I'm always researching attack before armor and just going for the jugular. I know it's not efficient, I know it's not optimal, but I just love killing things with sand skimmers. It makes me happy. But anyway, it's nice to see A-Game here, like playing a bit of a sand skimmer style. Heavy railguns are out now, so it looks like A-Game's going to be diversifying his army roster. And look at this map control, actually. It's really impressive, because if you look at the amount of units that Greippi has, like, that is a scary army. But A-Game's keeping it back with a ball of sand skimmers and a couple of assault ships. Like, look at the amount of map control that A-Game is buying against what appears to be a more sophisticated and superior force in terms of like numbers and tech and everything. So these railguns going to come out right, but look, they're unsupported. These are just railguns. So here comes A-Game with the sand skimmers. Whoa, these railguns are just getting way overexposed. I worry for Greippi here. He has to come back. If the sand skimmers find them, that is just like over. Oh wow, these assault ships being used to bait so hard. Yeah, that was a clear bait and switch, man. The railguns were like, oh, we could just kill these assault ships, but now A-Game is waiting in the wings with his interceptors, and the sand skimmer's going to try and chew off. His +1 attack finished yet? +1 attack is finished, so these sand skimmers are pretty dangerous. Oh man, look at A-Game. He's just sharking around Greippi here, just looking for opportunities. The sand skimmer's going to commit, and this is free because the sand skimmers are so fast. As soon as this goes bad, they'll just melt away. They'll just disappear. So this is free harass basically here. Anything A-Game can get, and he doesn't actually get any kills really, I don't think. But I mean, even just the damage on the support cruiser, that's totally valid. An interceptor just bites off a little more than it can chew. Comes in here, there's still missile batteries on the ground, so that's not going to go well. If A-Game could grab like a base runner, that would be super sweet, because that way he could grab artifacts, but I appreciate that is a luxury he may not right now be able to afford. The assault ship's just going to probe back in on the left, and look at A-Game, he's just balancing and reacting, pushing forward with bunches of units, melting away when the situation is not good, and pushing forward for maximum value when he recognizes an opportunity. And it's spicy, man. It's spicy. Like, this is how Galzian are designed to be played. And look at Greippi, he's just like, he's fine, but he is flustered. He is undoubtedly flustered. Look at these units. They're slow, they're moving left and right, they're trying to like match up against the A-Game, who's just one step ahead, positionally speaking. And it's not going to take much for him to translate that into actual damage. But you know, to credit Greippi, he is not he's not allowing A-Game to translate these this superior positioning and things into actual damage. So this is still totally on the wire, this game. Sandskim is going to come in here. There's a lot of railguns exposed and missile batteries. This could be the big opening. So one railgun goes down. Now we're seeing damage dealt. Heavy railguns are in a good position back here for AGameAnx. Hooning in for damage. Uh-oh. And now, okay, so that was some good damage. Meanwhile, on the left flank, looks like a few assault ships of A-Game going to go down. The carrier was in position to defend. Considerable power reserves actually have been researched here by Greippi, plus the one artifact. But yeah, a lot of power reserves. So this carrier becoming quite the weapon right now. For AGameAnx, looks like level 2 power has been completed, but only level 2. Let's check the tech here. How upgraded are these sand skimmers? Hot diggity. So we've got 2 armor, 2 attack. Oh, these sand skimmers are the spice now. That's what I like to see. Oh, they're just baiting out the mortar there. Very nice. If those cluster mortars catch these sand skimmers, it is just like GG for the sand skimmers. So you've got to be very, very careful. And the sand skimmers, yeah, they might look cheap, they might look expendable, but you never want to have to replace them, and you always want to be spending your production cycles on other stuff usually. So losing them would be super annoying right now. Oh, also, not to mention, like, losing a chunk of these sand skimmers would just mean that these railguns would just be, like, hung out to dry in, like, a pretty severe way. But look at this position for A-Game. This lane of fire here. There are no sand dunes, so by positioning his heavy railguns here, he's able to rain fire into the resources and into these AAV chassis units, which is exactly what the heavy railguns want to be hitting. This is a great position for A-Game. Where are the railguns for Greippi? Have they all just been chewed off? There just don't seem to be that many. Okay, there are 5 here. I suppose they're just kind of hiding under the carrier. And now a couple of strike fighters going to come out. Okay, nice. Okay, Greippi recognizing the A-Game light on anti-air at the front right now. Going to try and exploit that and take out some heavy railguns, but there are interceptors closing. Only 1? Okay, A-Game not committing so hard into interceptors at all. I thought he may still have like 3, but he only has 2 left at the moment. Which is fine, to be honest. I like under-committing to air rather than over-committing. A lot of sand skimmers get pushed down here, though. Greippi moving out. And taking a pretty reasonable engage here. Although the money units, these heavy railguns, like at least half of them probably going to escape. Can we get one more hit on this heavy railgun? Oh no! Oh no. Well, that was a miss. There was one shot going, but it actually targeted one of these ones. So, okay, the strike fighter is going to pick off one more. So that's something at least. Meanwhile, on the left flank, there's 2 AAVs waiting to defend here, an assault ship, and quite a lot of sand skimmers coming in. Actually, that many sand skimmers could basically ignore these AAVs and maybe go for the support cruiser, and that would be super annoying right now for Greippi, who's going for a large assault down the right flank. Actually, A-Game does not have a lot to defend. This is definitely going to have force A-Game to displace from this area of the map. In fact, Actually, A-Game thinks better of his attack and retasks the sand skimmers. No, I don't know that you have the travel time. By the time the sand skimmers get back over here, are they really going to be any good? Okay, so A-Game decides to split them off and target this location here. Oh no, but now the strike fighters have found these sand skimmers. The splash damage doing quite a lot against them. The assault ship goes down, and now here comes the sledgehammer blow from Greippi. A-Game immediately has to yield this position. Like, there's just no choice there. That is just like, you must yield. Whoa! He's bringing his carrier in? If I sound confused, it's because he doesn't have a lot of power reserves. His opponent has a lot of railguns, and the Galcian carrier is quite slow until you have those power reserves. You don't want to expose it to any more fire than you really have to. He's got an artillery cruiser? He's got a siege cruiser. Holy spoons, I did not see that. Wow, okay, well, let's keep an eye on the tech here. He has a siege cruiser, that's the thing. Man, I do my best as a caster, but I really feel like I'm quite bad. Anyway, that's a lot of sand skimmers. That's like 18 sand skimmers, but that's a lot of LAVs actually. Wow, Greippi going heavy into LAVs. That's like at least 16. How many? 18, 19. And Greippi, he did lose the siege cruiser. Sorry, the support cruiser. Wow. Okay, sorry, I missed this attack because Greippi was sledgehammering in. But okay, so the sand skimmers were able to take out the support cruiser here. That's really annoying, actually. So Greippi actually managed to take down this base for a while, but has his own base taken down. So economically, that's probably about a wash between these two players. A-Game's stacking a lot of CUs right now, actually. He could probably just go ahead and research fleet cap here. I feel like researching fleet cap has got to be the choice next, because he's nearly at unit cap and he's just got a lot of resources here. But anyway, wow, so okay, these two players like circling each other, neither one willing to commit in any way that means that, like, if whatever they're committing to doesn't work, that they lose. You know, they're both giving a lot of respect to each other here. Oh, the strike fighters find another good salvo there. Only getting one sand skimmer, but getting a lot of damage on the others. If they come back for another run, there's like no anti-air here except for the production cruiser, and that's risk. Greippi actually gonna transition the LAVs to come around and harass this location. I love it, and A-Game has no eyes on this force here, no eyes. So a lot of potential for damage here. Does he have turbo boosters researched? He does have turbo boosters. So Greippi can use those. Okay, there we go. That's the usage right there. Wow, the turbo boost gets used, and they are just going to come screaming in. It's a bit of a tough choice because you can either use that for the to make sure that you hit hard, or you can use it to make sure that you can escape. And I think I usually prefer to use it to make sure you can escape. But Greippi here disagrees with me, and I will defer to his judgment because he is undoubtedly the superior coalition player. let's face it, he's probably the superior Knef player as well.
A strike craft has been destroyed.
Anyway, and then this is a lot of... Okay, what are the upgrades on these LAVs? 2 armor, no damage, versus 2... Oh, dearie me. So these sand skimmers have the high ground advantage, they have the numerical advantage, they have the upgrade advantage. So this ought to be a massacre, and that is a lot of value that Greippi's going to lose there. Strike fighters desperately hooning missiles into this fight, but look what a difference a little bit of high ground, a couple of extra numbers, and 2 upgrades make. Like, nearly all the LAVs get butchered, nearly all the sand skimmers survive, despite the air support. And now, there's only about 10 minutes left in this game, and it is getting pretty close, because Greippi, let's not forget, still leads. He still has 3 mining locations. His production is, like, super high. He has, what, 1 artillery cruiser only? Okay, he has 1 artillery cruiser and versus 1 siege cruiser. So I would say these 2 forces pretty much evenly matched. How many? 4 heavy railguns for Greippi, 4 heavy... That looks like 5, but it is 4 heavy railguns for... oh, that's a nuke? Do we just really have a nuke? Oh, it's a nuke! The nuclear missile gets used. Greippi, unleashing his carrier's full might, has actually tacked up to the nuclear missile. I have to say, that was a bit of a disappointing nuke. Only just, like, if he'd have splashed any of these units, that would have been massive, but he didn't. I feel like AGame perhaps getting a touch lucky there, although, you know, the split was good as well. And so that's the nuke on cooldown. Remember, the nuke costs 600 CUs. I've just got it up on the screen now, and takes 2 minutes to cool down. Fleet capacity 125 now being done for AGame, so he's going to be able to increase the size of his army. And it looks like AGame looking to get back on the offensive, coming down the left flank here with a ball of sand skimmers. And these sand skimmers have got all their upgrades done now, so these are like absolutely turbo menacing sand skimmers. These guys make mutalisks look like babies. They're just going to come on in here and raid everything. What do we got? 3 AAVs. I think the sand skimmers could probably even focus them down first. I mean, going for the support cruiser, that's the key target here. That is the key target, I think. But AGame actually going to try and see... Oh, he's going to come all the way in. I don't like this necessarily, because now he's exposing himself to more AAVs. And AAVs slow the sand skimmers down, which makes it hard for them to escape. He's not pushing anywhere else on the map, necessarily. So, okay, that seemed like a bit of an overexposure. He only really got like 1 or 2 sand skimmers. I think what I would have preferred to do is just pick off the support cruiser and then get out. But, you know, AGame clearly had other plans. Perhaps he'd spotted another opportunity, or maybe there's some intel he's working with that I missed. I mean, I always feel super tenuous whenever I second guess someone like AGame. But I feel like just grabbing the support cruiser and getting out was possibly the better move there, but I don't know. Wow. This frame rate's getting a bit choppy, so I'm just going to see if I can do anything to optimize that. Okay, we'll see if that's helped. Anyway, whew, what a game! 7 minutes 45 seconds remain, and looks like Greippi is actually going to send out a wing of armored assaults here, possibly just to garrison the extraction zone. I don't think that's the case though. Maybe actually, because he does see that AGame has an artifact which he's trying to extract. Meanwhile, both players are gearing up for a large battle in this section of the map. Both carriers circling now like sumo wrestlers, and when they butt heads, this is going to be intense. Going to bring up the health bars. Sand Skimmer's getting the information, so AGame is aware of the positioning of his foe. For Greippi, I don't think... Okay, no, Greippi does see the Galzian carrier. This logistics module will be detecting it. And, whoa! Actually, the missile batteries and siege cruisers, that's like 3 artillery cruisers and 4 missile batteries. If they focus all their indirect fire on this location, then the carrier could be in jeopardy. Meanwhile, siege cruiser for AGame going to open up with a spectacular barrage, catches a ton of Greippi's forces. The nuke comes out, gets a glancing hit there on the Galzian carrier, even destroying a couple of his own LAVs. A little bit of friendly fire there. But the barrage there from AGame, actually more effective probably than the nuke from Greippi. Greippi's nuke's actually not been super good this game, to be honest. I mean, in terms of value gained, just another thing. Okay, now look, both players garrisoning each other's extraction zones. 6 minutes 30 seconds, and bear in mind, if the game ends on time, right now as things stand, Greippi will win, because he's up 1. So, this game's super in the balance. Super in the balance. What a pleasure to cast. So... Wow, AGame actually finds the base runner. That's quite the pickup, because that has to be replaced pretty much. Like, this game is looking increasingly as the seconds go by, like it's going to be decided by artifacts. even if the artifacts even if the artifacts don't decide the game and it goes to time, the pressure by the artifacts like dictates where the players have to position, and it somewhat dictates which engagements they can and can't take. So like, whoa, was that a siege cruiser? Oh wow, I think an artillery cruiser, sorry, just went down to these sand skimmers. Oh, the sand skimmers being left in the open here a little bit. There we go. Orders finally come through. Only 2 or 3 of them being destroyed due to inactivity, so that's not too bad. And it's just becoming an artillery war out here. 3 siege cruisers now versus 2 artillery cruisers only, and the coalition carrier beginning to take a lot of hits here. Anything else going on? Whoa, 3 AAVs just making a desperate run by to try and get through to the economy of A-Game here, which by the way, he's not actually banking a lot. So even though there's only 5 minutes left, actually he's mined out every location except this one, so maybe I'm over-exaggerating. I thought that he'd had to evacuate these locations, but he hasn't. Sandskimmer Ball going to poke through the middle here for A-Game, just coming in to look for damage. Oh, every railgun he picks off here is massive. Let's bring up the resources tab quickly. How much of a bank is Greippi working with? Some. Okay, Greippi has some bank here, so he can replace units. That's okay, but we're running out of time in this game. What's the artifacts looking like? Whoa, A-Game's actually getting an artifact out. This has to be target numero uno for Greippi. If he can stop this from getting out, that'll be awesome. How many air forces does he have? Air assets. Oh, I can't see because I'm not that player. Okay, another nuke? He gets a siege cruiser and a missile ship, so that nuke actually starting to look worthwhile. But even 1 siege cruiser is like... Yeah, that is worth it. Wow, Greippi's just going to let this artifact go, and I feel like that's a problem, because he either needs a base runner with an artifact of his own getting out, or he needs to stop this one, and neither of those things are happening, and I feel like Greippi's edge in this game is going to be lost now. Okay, so here comes the showdown between the 2 carriers and their assorted armies. Look at this railgun positioning here by A-Game. Super sweet, right at the back, right on the spines of the sand dunes, right where you want them. Let's get back to the production tab here. And a good siege cruiser barrage. Pardon me, a good siege cruiser barrage there. 2 artillery cruisers going to respond in kind, but the accuracy just not quite there. There's not actually like this saturation zone. There's not a lot there. These railguns are just on the edge, but they can move back. The carrier getting tagged like tiny, but it's only minor damage. And that's 1-1. The artifact does get scored by A-Game here. What are these salvages doing out on the map? Has everyone just mined out? It's pretty amusing. Sorry, you'll have to bear with me, I'm still suffering from my virus here. Okay, so the showdown continues. Oh yeah, there we go. Let's get some like sweet full screen panoramic shots of this incredible battle that's going on. So A-Game's powering up weapons. He's looking to munch on in with the carrier's weapons array here. Does actually, this artillery cruiser is a little exposed here. Oh, taking a ton of fire. Strike cruisers get launched. One of the siege cruisers from A-Game goes down. It's so hard to call who's winning this. The railguns from A-Game actually not finding too many hits. The carrier, Greippi's carrier is down on half health though. 3 minutes left, so there's totally enough time to put together a carrier win here. In terms of artifacts, A-Game is grabbing another artifact. That might be the deciding artifact right there. God damn, these 2 armies are so ragtag. But the Galzian carrier can take a beating, then it can use its epic speed once you have these... Whoa, that's a nuke! That nuke looks great! Ooh, he finds the carrier! And now A-Game is going to be forced to keep his carrier out of the fight for a while. Look at that, he immediately powers up repairs. The Galzian carrier repairs like insanely quickly though. So there is a window of time here. There's a window of time for Greippi to try and hunt down his opponent's carrier. He has a couple of railguns hitting it actually, so the armor break effect is going to be on. Carrier is down to 35% health. God damn, it repairs so quick though, so quick. That's the thing about the Galzian carrier, and that's, in my opinion, why arguably, as a combat unit, the Galzian carrier is the best in the game, because it's so fast, and it repairs so quickly, and when you combine those 2 attributes, it becomes like the ultimate late-game shank. But anyway... Okay, so this railgun has to die. Sorry, this base runner has to die. If this base runner doesn't die, Greippi's in trouble. Oh, why isn't this armored assault moving in? Greippi, 2 armored assaults would be great here. 2 armored assaults is what you need. Strike fighter's going to come in, though. That should seal the deal on that base runner, and that means that we may have a sudden death scenario, because only like 98 seconds remain right now, and we might have a sudden death scenario if this base runner doesn't score, and I can't see that it will score with this amount of strike fighters hitting it. I'm going to keep the camera here. Whoa, what else is going on at Giggle? Yeah, so base runner gets taken out. That is crucial. That is the play that Greippi like needed to make, in my opinion. That keeps this game wide open, and as far as I can tell, approximately even. The Gaussian carrier should be nearly repaired. There it is. Look at that. Just casually shrugs off a nuke and a load of railgun slugs. Like, who cares? You know, they're only like cutting-edge weapons. They've got epic repair systems. It's fine. He could even go to max repairs if he wanted, but he's not. He's going to keep the power liquid for now, ready to redeploy at a moment's notice. So let's quickly check the armies here. So we've got three artillery cruisers, a support cruiser, 4 railguns, 4 missile batteries, and that's pretty much it actually. For Greippi versus about 8 heavy railguns, 1 siege cruiser, and 3 missile ships. So this is a pretty even fight, but Greippi has a lot more artillery cruisers than A-Game has siege cruisers, which means that he's going to have a considerable advantage. He's going to be able to put down 3 barrages to A-Game's 1, and that could very well dictate how this fight looks. Let's bring up the resource tab and see if he has enough money for a nuke. So yeah, Greippi has enough money for another nuke. His carrier though, that's the one weakness of Greippi's position right now. Everything's looking pretty good for Greippi right now, but his carrier is actually really weak. He needs his support cruisers to come on in here. Okay, yeah, so 1 support cruiser going to join on up and start repairing it now. These strike craft really want to come and land, I feel. I'm not sure that they can achieve much on this side of the map. Actually, the production cruiser is a good target. If they could pick that off, that'd be good. I don't think 3 strike fighters can take it on, though. The AA on that production cruiser is pretty good. Whoa, he's going to lose all his strike fighters to the AA on this production cruiser, actually, if he's not careful.
Move to destination.
Man, what a tactical match. We're in sudden death now, by the way. We are confirmed in sudden death. So, okay, so the way this game can end now is if a carrier dies, obviously, or if an artifact is scored. Like, first artifact scored is going to end the game, and we are in extra time now. We are in golden goal territory. Both players, let's just check the resources tab, see how much they're floating. Okay, so A-Game, the poorer of the 2 players by a considerable margin. So, actually, Greippi could even purchase some more. Can I see the units tab here? I need the supply cap. I don't know. Alright. 2 forces are starting to engage though, so I'm going to focus on the action here. The siege cruiser barrages. Oh man, that's just a lot of siege cruisers. Sorry, artillery cruisers for Greippi. This siege cruiser is going to go down. The carrier is so weak though, and it's right on the front line. Greippi, you got to be careful here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 heavy railguns. This could be a carrier kill win here. Those heavy railguns are hitting the carrier. Adaptive armor is not powered up at all. It's not powered up at all. He needs to power that up. Greippi! Oh, he realizes it too late, I feel. And that's going to be a carrier kill win for A-Game. What? Oh, what an epic game. What an epic game that was.
The heretics have been repelled.
The heretics have been repelled. Wow. I mean, that was just a fantastic game. Probably one of the best games I've ever cast. Went into sudden death, extra time. Okay, so I think there were actually... I actually think Greippi played that game incredibly well. I actually think he was ahead for most of it, and I think that there were 2 crucial things that he could have done which would have changed the outcome of this game, because A-Game was basically behind. It didn't really look like he had the upper hand. He basically managed to pull together a win out of this ragtag bunch of units because Greippi's carrier was a target of opportunity at that moment, which is fine. I mean, I'm not saying that that's not a legitimate win. I'm just saying that's like... He just basically managed to cobble that together, like at the end of the game, basically. But okay, so here are the 2 things I think that Greippi could have done differently. First one is, A-Game only produced that 1 base runner this whole game, and it grabbed that first artifact and made away with it. And if a strike fighter wing, or like 2 AAVs, or like a handful of LAVs could have tracked down and killed that base runner, then the scoreline would have been 0-1 when the time ran out. So that would have been a Greippi victory. And I feel like A-Game kind of just like got away with that base runner. I think that base runner could have been stopped. And it turns out that it was absolutely crucial. Like, cannot understate how important that artifact was for A-Game winning this game. Second thing was, in the very late game where we had the 2 big armies jostling for position and exchanging blows in this area of the map, I actually think Greippi had the better army. 3 siege cruisers versus 3 artillery cruisers versus 1 siege cruiser, and like everything else was about a wash. Like, he had slightly fewer railguns than A-Game and like a couple of other units. It was basically even, but I think I preferred Greippi's army. I think I preferred his position, especially that he had the money for another nuke as well. But his carrier was down on like 48 health or 48% health, something like that. It was like slightly under half health. And he didn't have support cruisers with it, and he didn't power up reactive armor. And let's not forget, when you power up reactive armor, that also powers up the carrier's self-repair. So it makes it tougher, and it means it starts regenerating health. And you saw him scramble to do that, but almost too late. Like, I think perhaps he didn't quite realize how low of health his carrier was on, because in that fight, he, like, used the carrier as a shield and positioned it at the front whilst his other units were doing good damage, you know. And if that, pardon me, if that carrier was on more health, that move makes a lot of sense. It looks absolutely fine. But it was not on a lot of health. It was on like less than half health going into that little sort of move. And so for that reason, I think he needed to have had adaptive armor like powered like right the hell up. So I don't know if there was another thing that I missed that meant that he needed to have all his power and weapons. Certainly he took out like a siege cruiser around here by having power and weapons. I think it was in that last fight. Can't quite remember actually. But yeah, obviously you can't take chances with your carrier, so that's gonna cost Greippi this game. But man, what a game. Like, that was so close, on a knife's edge. And like I say, there are at least two things there, quite small things to be honest, like having power in a different subsystem and shooting down a base runner that was like alone and scurrying with an artifact, that I think if either of those things had gone differently, then Greippi for sure would have taken this win. But A-Game, staying true to his reputation, just staying alive, just doing what he needed to stay in the game, just maintaining his position. Okay, he was behind, more or less, like I think pretty much this whole game. Only slightly, but just nevertheless was slightly behind this whole game. Actually, I take it back. He was behind for a lot of the game, but there was a good chunk of the game where Greippi was locked in this position and A-Game was poking from 3 positions. But anyway. But yeah, A-Game manages to assemble this late game carrier kill, and nicely done it was too, timely. So, wow, that's going to conclude this cast. Thank you very much for watching, and this for now is Magpie842 signing out.